All right, Wolfpack, how you guys doing? Coach B is back. I still have a few things that I want to communicate with you. But before that, I want to point out something that it happened last night at my son's practice. Every team has their game chant or practice chant or after practice chant, before game chants, those 1, 2, 3, go green or whatever. Anyways, yesterday after practice, the coach, he just walked out on the kids, and the kids, they did the chant all alone, and everybody in the team was baffled. So it's terrible that there are coaches that acting like this. It's sad that those coaches are actually coaching kids at a really high level. And I just want to pretty much accentuate to you and to every parent and every guardian of yours that that's not me. That's not how I see things. That coach, it doesn't matter if he was mad or he was mad at the club or at the director of coaching or whatever. You don't take it out on the kids. The kids, they were just perplexed of what happened. I mean, what does the coach, is he mad at us? Anyways, coaches, they should be almost, and I repeat, almost as secondary parents. And that's not just coaches, that applies for teachers, for every person in your life that forms and shapes you in any way. Instructors, wherever you go and you have an activity, that person at that moment should be acting as your parent. Should always think in your benefit, the best way he can do, the best way to make you be a reasonable and smart and good human being. That's the goal after all. So that's about that. We have a lot of things on the list. We're gonna go one thing at a time. Hopefully there is time for you guys to watch all these videos and rewatch them. What's the thought behind rewatching these videos is that the more you watch it, the more you're gonna learn it. It's like pretty much like a lecture that I give to you. Once you learn it, and not just about positioning or what we do in the game, but how to act in the game, how to act on and off the field, like you guys know, because you're almost, or maybe all of you are on the same club, so you know what means on and off the field. How do we act? How do we how are we? And pretty much that defines us as not just as players, but as human beings. Okay, so let's talk about directionality of your body. So which way you direct your body during the game. And that's something that I've noticed that kids your age, they're not aware of yet. Some of you guys do it really well and think about what's the best way of protecting your goal or protecting the ball. It's important, let's say if there is a throw-in, to face the throw-in, to be always with your eyes on the ball. Don't forget, you have to turn your head at every, I'd say, 10, 15, 20 seconds, depending on how much you comprehend the game. You need to be feeding your brain with information. And it's because it's a fast-paced game, and every second, with every decision that you take, the game can take a million different turns, million different ways of what's going to happen next. That's why you need to feed your brain with constant information. And how you can do that the best is by turning your head, be aware of your space, be aware of what's going on the field. Rule is that, I mean, it's not a rule, but you should use it as a rule or think of it as a rule. Never ever turn your back to the ball. Doesn't matter if the ball goes out and you think, oh, there is another 10-15 seconds until they throw in, I'm just gonna walk down towards my goal to protect it. You shouldn't do that. Maybe there's another ball available, they just pick up, they throw in, and you're not aware of. Same thing as corner kicks. Now corner kicks and free kicks, you have to be careful, because why do you think on goal it happens? It's because of bad body position management. So every time there is a corner kick, just be sure that you're not facing your own goal, because if the soccer ball hits you and you're facing your own goal, the tendency of that ball is to get and end up in your own net. So be sure you're facing away from your goal at all times. What you can do in order to see better the incoming ball, you can actually turn about 45 degrees sideways. Let's say your shoulder would face the corner flag. I guess that's the best clue for you how to position your body. So always be sure you're facing away from your goal. That's important. Even if if the ball hits you, or you try to clear the ball or pass the ball or shoot the ball, that's really, really important. The goalie, and this is a special task for the goalie. If you come out to attack a ball and I say there's a free kick or a throw in or something happens, or you slow it down and they pass it back or whatever, never run back towards your own goal with your back to the ball. You always going back, put your hand out and kind of like you would want to touch that ball, and then you shuffle back with your hand out, by extending your arm. It'll keep you focused on where is the ball and what's going on, and obviously just look over your shoulder, see what's going on, but definitely shuffle back or running step back. But that's dangerous, because if you hit the turf, or there is a little bump on the turf or in the field, especially if it's a grass field, you might hit it with your heel and fall backwards. So the best way is shuffling, and again use that 45 degrees, like arm and shoulder extended towards the arm, and always protect the short post, the near post of your goal. So you're pretty much shuffling back like that, watching the ball. So that's really important. Another important thing for the goalie is to communicate with your teammates. The goalies, they have to be really vocal. They have to they feed information to the player that actually can't see behind him, because sometimes in soccer, if the ball comes really fast, the player doesn't have time to check his situation. For that reason, the goalie who's facing the ball at all times, again, he will be able to feed information to the players in front of him. Each goalie develops a pattern that he realizes, and that's gonna take time, but the goal is you guys will realize that it's possible. I did it, and others did it. Just to make a little detour here, I was the smallest goalie that I ever known in my time of being a goalie. And I lived at that period. Soccer was, especially goalies in soccer, they were selected on the basis of the biggest, the meanest guy on the field. Usually it's, you're good for goalie. You're big, you take up a lot of space. Well, yeah, soccer changed. That still applies for hockey, by the way, right? The bigger, the meaner, the taking up a lot of space type of guy. But soccer changed, and I was probably one of the first, or between the first guys who were selected on a regular basis to be, even in my high school years, even if I was a freshman, a junior, I was selected to be in the starter lineup of my team, although I was a small kid. But I've seen the game in a way that I could always get my defense to work so well that it was rarely shots on goal. and that connected to or added up to a really good reflex that I had. It made me a really, really good goalie. So again, goalies, they have to see the game way better than anyone else on the field and feed information to those. So don't be afraid to be vocal, to yell at your defense. You, after all, you have to coordinate them. You have to let them know what's going on behind them and let them know how would you like them to move in order for you to come up with the best saves and all that. So goalies always have to yell. Let's say there's a high ball and you realize you cannot get there in time to reach it, to knock it out, to hit it out, to catch it. You have to yell away, right? So this is pretty much the standard nowadays, to yell away. That means everyone in your team knows that you are not there. They have to deal with the ball that comes in and kick it or head it or push it forward. Opposite of away is when you yell out keep, or sometimes you just yell out mine. Now mine, it could be, tricky, because how about someone else yells out mine? Now, yes, your team will get used to your voice after a while, and when you yell out mine, it would be for them, yeah, that's our goalie, they would recognize your voice. But at the beginning, I guess the best way would be just to yell out keep. What else? So it's now there is a difference between when you yell away and when you yell clear. Okay, when you are yelling clear, that means that you are in the goal. You see that your guy actually got the ball. He's in the process of getting the ball down to his feet, or in the process of controlling that ball. But you see that someone really pressures him. He's not aware of it. He doesn't even know what's going to hit him in the next second or so. Then you have to yell out clear. Or if you have one player that has the ball and you realize that you guys are outnumbered, overpowered by the attack of the opponent team, then you have to yell out clear. Now, clear to the defenseman or to your player means that by any means you have to get rid of that ball. Doesn't matter if it goes corner or out or up the field. Obviously, you're trying to shoot towards the opponent's corner flag. That's the best way to clear the ball away and clean from your goal, so everybody can reset and defend again. So again, there is a difference between away, when you yell out away, but you have to be vocal, you have to be really loud so they can hear you, and clear. Clear means that that player has to do it. There is no way around, because if he doesn't clear it, that's really dangerous. It's an opportunity for the other team to score. Okay, so goalie communicating with the teams. What else? Choosing the fields before the game. Obviously, every captain is going to go for the coin toss. How do you choose the field? Obviously, like if it's a sunny day like today, you don't want to have the sun in your eyes. And you will say, yeah, but at some point we will have, because we switch fields. Yes, that's true. But if it's a sunny afternoon, the sun might go behind a tree line, or the sun might go behind a hill, and half an hour or 45 minutes later, even if you're on the field with the sun facing you, you will be able to see, because the sun is behind the obstacle, right? Wind, it's a really important factor in soccer, especially if it's raining or snowing. Imagine running up the field with the ball, really high winds with snow and rain in your face. You can't even keep your eyes open. It's just a hassle. So for that reason, now to my point, always choose the field that is better for you at the first half. And why I'm saying that, teams, it's the same as you always put your best lineup in the first half, okay, in the opening minutes. And I've seen coaches not doing that, and it upsets me so much, because I understand that soccer is fun and it's not just about winning, but honestly, why are we participating in a soccer game? Why are we participating in tournaments if there is no desire to win? Yes, you guys will develop nonetheless. You will develop in practices, you will develop it every game there is, but always winning it sweeten up things, right? So it will make you work harder in the next practice. It will make you understand better why did you actually fought in that game. So when you're losing, you are like, oh my gosh, I busted my butts here for half an hour, and what's the result? I just go home. Maybe my father tells me, you know, in the car back, in the drive back, is like, what the heck did you did, mate? It's not working. So always a win. It's a win. It lifts up the spirits. It makes you work harder. It makes you feel that there is a reason behind all your work. So back to the game. Always choose the half of the field that advantages in your team. Be sure the wind is in your back. Be sure the sun is behind you. Be sure that the muddy part it's on your side versus the opponent's side, because some fields they might be on a terrain that actually slopes and it might have water accumulated. Now, why do you need water in front of your goal? I mean, the answer is pretty simple. Sometimes some passes they are slowed down by the water or even stop. I've seen instances where the guy kicked the ball as hard as he could and the ball literally stopped, 30 feet in front of him or 25 feet in front of him. So for that reason, it's good to have the muddy part first, and because on the drier land your team is faster, there is more opportunities to score, there is no hazard of having the ball stopping or jumping, or you do your game, you're gonna be scoring. Okay. Again, wind not in your face but behind you, especially if it's raining or just, you just have to look up, see which way the raindrops are falling. And as a coach, I will tell you those things, but as a player, you already have to think about them, especially if you're the captain. You need to consult with your coach and come up with, okay, which side of the field. Because having the ball at the kickoff, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, most of the kids, they just pass it back and then they boot it upfield, which will end up in our possession anyways. So choosing the field, it's way more important than choosing the ball, okay? So that would be... Oh, another, by the way, you see, it's good I took notes. Wind, field conditions, and sun, and there is another one I put up here. Goal sizes. Now, as stupid as this might sound, I've been in tournaments where the organizers, they ran out of goals. So in the game that we played, we had one goal of certain size and a smaller goal, and we still played the game. Now, which goal it's easier to score in? Obviously, the bigger goal. So choose if everything else is the same, choose the one that you have to score easier into a bigger goal. So that's something that it amazed me, but in the same time I understand it. Sometimes organizers, they are running out of options. So that's about the field and choosing the field. The captain, he has to be free to talk to the ref. So sometimes if parents or even myself, the coach, yell out to the ref, not being happy with what he does on the field, he might think this is something that we are attacking him, or he might not take it well. So that's why, coming from a 11, 12-year-old player, he won't be as harsh, or he won't be as offended as it would come from me, or especially from one of the parents. I am a parent, a soccer player parent. I do yell at the refs. I'm sorry, I shouldn't. I just get too emotional with this game, and I hate it when someone without a knowledge influences lives or developings of young kids. That means that he or she shouldn't be in that position. And also I don't like it when sometimes you feel that they are cheating, sometimes you feel that they reffing against you, and that happens. Unfortunately, that happens. But we just have to keep going. Again, a captain who goes and talks to the ref in a really polite manner, not yelling, not using your arms or whatever, but really politely ask him and tell him, look, ref, what's going on? This is